There was recent, I think a year or two ago, didn't you make the Forbes 30 under 30 as a pure, well, you were, I don't know, an executive?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Welcome. This is called Beyond the Game, and we're here to help you tell your stories about the game of life or behind the game, perhaps the football game, the basketball game, or your playbook of life. Today we have Daniel Lacey.
Happy to be here with the one and only Lace Pops.
You know, there's no nepotism in behind the game.
Absolutely zero.
Beyond or beyond?
I think it's beyond the game.
It is beyond the game. Sorry about that. There's no nepotism in beyond the game. But Daniel Lacey is a serial entrepreneur. Daniel, would you tell us or explain what a serial entrepreneur is?
Yeah. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but just trying to take down Frosted Flakes, you know. But
and after you do that, maybe frosted shredded wheat?
Shredded wheat. Yeah, we're coming after them, all of them.
But seriously, Daniel had a pretty cool athletic career, and then he is having a wonderful career as an entrepreneur. So we'll talk about that. All right, Daniel, you know, I watched your sports career faithfully.
Every game, honestly, from every soccer game up until high school. Yeah.
How many sports did you letter in?
Oh, wow. Yeah. So in high school, I played track, football, basketball, ended up lettering 12 times in high school.
What'd you do in track?
Did the hurdles, 110 hurdles, 300 hurdles, high jump, some relays, through the javelin.
I recall, didn't you have the fastest time in the 110 high hurdles in the state one year?
Second every year. Never took first in the 110 hurdles, but yeah,
Well, you had a really fast time.
Yeah, very fast.
I think I compared it with Utah high hurdles that year, and you had a faster time than the winner of the state.
Those New Mexico boys, man, we get it done.
But that was the problem, right? New Mexico?
Yeah. I mean, also, you know, the sport I focused on was football, even though I was probably better at track than football.
Oh, I don't know about that. What did you play in football?
So yeah, down in Farmington, New Mexico, we ran the triple option and I played QB, so basically a running back.
Well, you were a quarterback and you still threw the ball every once in a while, but yeah, you were running with the ball.
A few times a game we threw it, yeah.
That's awesome. And you kind of turned around your team turned around a program that had been in the doldrums.
Yeah, coming in. I mean, I think the year before my freshman year, we were like 2-8. Got a new coach, brought in the triple option. We had on our varsity team, we had 30 guys. That's all. That was it. 30 guys on our varsity team. I was bigger than most of our linemen, which is why the triple option, you know, we had an aggressive team and implemented, and we ended up, you know, we'd take third or fourth in the state, you know, kind of every year.
It's interesting. In New Mexico, they have the southeastern corner is kind of the Texas part of New Mexico. So Artesia, the schools down around Los Alamos. No, not Los Alamos. Where
Roswell.
Yeah, played big football because they're Texans. Almost.
Yeah. It was Texas football, and so I know a couple teams down in New Mexico would go and compete with some big Texas teams. But yeah, typically not a heavily recruited state.
Now, Farmington, New Mexico, where we were, is way up in the northwestern corner of the state.
Yep, four corners.
And it wasn't known at that time for football.
Still probably isn't known for football, if we're being honest.
But they've done okay. In fact, your team, right after you left, They had to get rid of you.
That was the key.
That was the key. And then what happened?
Yeah, I think it was a year after or something. They won state, and so just had to get rid of that Daniel guy.
Who knew? Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You set up something. I got to share with you that our teams of 1979, 80, and 81 at BYU, in my opinion, set up that national championship in 84. I mean, we had awesome win-loss records. We were ranked in the top 10. And those teams that came on afterwards, kind of took on from the lead that I want to feel like we took. And we took after the lead of other people who sacrificed a lot. So it's kind of cool that you set that up for your teammates.
Setting the foundation helps with recruiting during your years at BYU, and even like recruiting in a sense at high school. We started with 30 guys, and all of a sudden you start winning, and more guys want to come out and play.
And I know Coach Gary Bradley really looked up to you as a team leader.
Oh, I love Coach Bradley and our whole coaching staff down there, and during those high school years, they do. It's crazy what they do. They really build some solid foundation in these young men in football and sports and athletics, but just work ethic and how to live life.
And we'll talk about that in a second, but the life stories or the experiences you gain from sports really apply to the rest of life, I think. To me, football particularly, where you get knocked down on one play, but you get up and play another play another season, it's pretty much like life.
Oh, 100%. Coach Bradley had across our whole locker room, he just had these signs with different sayings, and we would joke around because some of them were pretty funny, and we'd always kind of quote Coach Bradley. But one thing he always said was, "Football mirrors life." So that
Not life mirrors football?
Sometimes it felt like that. Yeah, actually, it probably was.
No, I'm kidding.
Like
I'm kidding. No, you were right. It's football mirrors life.
And so that's something that they would preach, right? So he'd have funny sayings, something like, "Get knocked down 6 times, get up 7," or something, and we'd always
what?
Try and I don't know what that quite means.
But it does. It means you're always getting up.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Good. Yeah. How do you get knocked down 6 times and get up 7?
I don't know.
You tripped.
I'm still trying to think about that.
You tripped after getting up once. All right. So how did you get into BYU, the BYU football program?
Yeah. So
since they didn't recruit New Mexico.
Yeah. I mean, had a pretty solid career down there. I'd say started varsity as a freshman, and
you were in the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm, played in the All-Star game. I think put up some good touchdown numbers and whatnot. But really like no recruitment whatsoever. And after kind of the recruiting season was over, I was really just looking at like, hey, you know what? Like, what's kind of my next step in life?
Let me brag on you once.
Yeah.
Albuquerque TV, on Friday nights after the games, they'd always have the highlights of some of the games. You had a game against, I think it was Los Alamos.
Yeah.
Where they even had your video of a touchdown you scored playing the music. What was the music?
It was, back then, it was Smooth Like Jagger, that song.
Yes. Moves Like Jagger or something like that.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Moves like, yeah.
But I swear, you zigzagged that whole sideline, and everyone was trying to tackle you, but everyone missed. It was so cool. And then you run into the end zone and said, I wish I could have run like that. I was a fast, straight ahead runner, but anyway, I was really proud. Even though there's no nepotism here.
No nepotism.
No,
yeah.
I was really proud of that.
No, fun times. But yeah, most recruiters, the caveat, you have an awesome play, and then it's like, hey, but they're playing against guys in New Mexico, right?
Sure.
But I was still pushed. I would go to, the BYU camps. I'd send in my film. Thanks to you guys. You guys really pushed me to go, and I'd go into the offices and talk with the coaches there. And somehow my film made it on Bronco Mendenhall's desk, and he watched it and saw something. And so, called me up, honestly, out of the blue and offered me a spot as a walk-on the team.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that? Was it fun to be on the team?
Oh yeah, it's just a crazy experience because here you are, you're a high school kid, graduate, next thing you know. So I was a part of the 123, they call it. So there's 123 guys on a college football team.
How many scholarships are they allowed?
I think there's 85 scholarships, something like that. And then there's another 16 like preferred walk-ons, and then the rest that make up the 123 pretty much have to.
The cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Me and one of my friends, I'll talk about him a little bit later. We ended up starting a business together, but we always joked that him and we were number 123 and 122 on the team, but we didn't quite know
who was which one.
But yeah, so you get there. So as a part of the 123, I wasn't even allowed to show up to practice until the first day of school, really. So you get there and they give you your pads and everything, which they didn't even know where to put me because on the roster, I was an athlete. The equipment manager is like, hey, coach said, probably like running back. So he gave me running back pads. So then an hour later, you're out on the field and the scout offense.
What's the scout offense? What do they do during practice?
Yeah, so you have this massive team, and you have first team defense goes up against the scout team offense, and
so you're running the opposing team's plays every week, and in preseason you're just running general plays, I assume.
Yeah, exactly. And so I get out there, and the scouto coach threw me out at wide receivers. He's like, hey, we need wide receivers. Go out to. I have running back pads on.
Now let me interrupt you because Daniel has blazing speed. He's one of the fastest kids in New Mexico, but he's also really shifty. So he could have been a great quarterback in his dad's opinion. He'd be a great running back in his dad's opinion, and I think in a lot of other people's opinion. But they put you at receiver, right? Which you hadn't played very much of.
No, never.
You were always throwing to those guys.
I was always throwing the ball. So that was an adjustment. But yeah, you get out there, you're this 18-year-old kid just thrown out on the field trying
to the wolves,
trying to do something, right? And like you'd huddle up, they'd show you the card, you'd go out and you're running routes against Danny Sorensen, So it was fun.
Who's Daniel Sorensen?
I don't think many people.
Some people don't know. Most people do.
Yeah, had a killer career at BYU, and then went and had an amazing.
Is he still playing for the Chiefs? Maybe he's a backup, or I'm not sure if he's this. I'm not
sure where he's at right now, but
long, very good career,
in the NFL, and so I like to take claim that so that year. Our defense, I believe they were ranked second in the nation.
Name some of the guys on that defense.
Yeah, so you had like Danny Sorensen.
Okay.
Ziggy Ansah.
Wow.
Kyle Van Noy.
Wow.
Bronson Kafusi.
Big guys.
And honestly, the whole defensive team was
second in the country.
Second in the country.
And seriously,
who was training those guys? It was the scout offense.
Exactly. You and your friend.
Yeah, it was number 123. So
now I remember you telling me a story of when you beat one of the DBs and scored a touchdown. Do you want to share that with us? We're using PG rated language, or is that appropriate?
Yeah, no, I mean, you're out there every single day, so you're bound to catch a lucky break every once in a while.
Daniel.
So, and honestly, at the time, I didn't even realize that. So it was more of a scrimmage type feel, right? Like full kind of game mode, first team versus first team, and obviously getting,
you're getting thrown into
getting people thrown in there.
Sure.
And so it was kind of a play action, ran a post, DB came up on the play action, and caught a post for a touchdown. I run in the end zone, and then
you're all happy, right?
I'm happy, but the offense, like the team is running out and is like chest bumping and like this is like a game, and that that was kind of a different field than practice in high school.
Yeah. I'm serious though. Spring ball, fall ball, football, if people aren't aware, in college and then obviously in pros, is like two different teams, right? You have your defense and then you have your offense. And during the spring, are they friends with each other?
Well, so this was during the Bronco Mendenhall era, and this was interesting as well. Coming from a team of 30 in high school, really tight-knit team, everybody's,
close,
pretty
friends.
close. Going to a college team, 123 people, you have offense, defense, you have kind of different cliques almost. And then you also have this very competitive practice, right?
Environment, yeah.
And I wouldn't say that it was encouraged, but it was encouraged to go and lay some hits, and there'd be fights going on.
Oh, I remember that too.
And coaches would, we'd probably end up having to run, but the coaches were always like, "Hey, good job." Like, so
things haven't changed since the 1970s and 80s.
No, probably not. No. So, yeah.
So you scored that touchdown, and your team was pumped.
Yeah, that's about.
And the defense had to run laps, maybe.
For sure, if I caught a touchdown.
Oh, stop! That's cool.
But yeah, it was awesome. Really awesome experience. Learned a lot. Met a ton of great guys. Great team members.
You even opened a business with one of your buds.
Exactly. So
you should have named the business 123 and 124.
That
122.
122. Yeah, 122. That should have been our business name. But so ended up going on a mission. Came back, and just to kind of fast forward through all of this, ended up getting injured. Had a Liz Frank. At the time, there was I think that across BYU athletics, there were 7 people who
was
had
Taysom Hill on the team then?
Taysom Hill. It was kind of during the same time. Taysom Hill had the Liz Frank injury.
The Liz Frank injury, for those who don't know, is an injury in the ligament right in your foot, and it's not very painful. Is that right?
Oh man, it was one of the most painful injuries I've ever had. It's kind of hard to diagnose. They thought I just sprained my ankle or something for a bit, but anyways, had to have surgery. You can't run it was like a good 6 months. You're in a boot. And during that time, one of my buddies, this guy I talked about, he's probably 122. I was 122.
Name him.
Connor, no. So,
Connor. I remember Connor.
So yeah, we were, same year, came onto the team at the same time. Ended up after our missions, rooming together. He tore his ACL. I had the Liz Frank. So we were injured. So
122 and 123 became 124 and 125.
Exactly. So when you're kind of in that position, it's interesting. And I have some other friends, when it's a difficult spot to be in, where it's like, hey, you're not going to be playing for like a year. They don't really want you just hanging around, the physical, taking up physical therapy spots. So at that time, that's when it was a big life change, focusing on athletics and football, and that's kind of your life. And then you go through like a big injury, and Connor and I ended up, luckily, we went through kind of a dark time, both of us.
Well, share that with me. I'm interested, because we're going to talk about injuries periodically over time. What was it like transitioning out of sports, being so involved in sports mirroring life, and then all of a sudden you're in a boot, you have that little push cart that you have to ride around on.
Yeah, so I had one of those knee scooters.
Yeah, and you don't get to play. What did that feel? You said it was a dark time.
Yeah, because in your head, you're still pushing like, hey, I'm gonna get through this injury, get better, get back, and start playing more. But over time it starts to creep in, especially so like right after the injury, you have surgery. We lived on we had a 3rd-story apartment, no elevators. I have this scooter. It's the winter in Utah.
Oh, geez.
The stairs are covered in ice.
You didn't slip, did you?
No, luckily I never slipped, but
you had to jump up the stairs, I assume.
yeah. So I remember one time I had to go. I bought groceries. Had all my groceries on one arm. I had my scooter in the other arm, and I'm hopping up 3 flights of stairs, to get to my apartment. And so at that moment, you're like, what is life? What am I gonna do? But yeah, kind of transitioning. Luckily, because yeah, it was a hard time, kind of trying to figure out like, who am I? What am I gonna do? And that's when, yeah, luckily for Connor and I, kind of on a whim, there's a story there if we want to get into it, but we started a business, and we're able to kind of put our passion and time and energy into that, and found something that kind of gave us energy.
Gave you reason.
Yeah.
What kind of business was it?
So we were, at this time, we went to lunch, Jimmy John's. We were going to Jimmy John's down in Provo, just grab a sandwich. And there was this new pizza restaurant right next door. And there was a sign, and it said $6.50, all you can eat pizza. And so we're like, hey, well, yeah, we're broke. Let's go check it out. No one was in there. The pizza was top notch, actually. He was like not skimping on the ingredients. It was all you can eat pizza, all you can eat salad bar, and a drink as well, and dessert for $6.50. And no one was in there. And so we were sitting there eating this. We're like, hey, this place is pretty good. Like, we could probably get some people in here. And so that's what we started. So the very next day we went in, we were all nervous. We even got like dressed up, and we said, hey, can we talk to like the business owner? He was there. He came out. We pitched him on a couple ideas that we had for marketing. And he pulled out his checkbook and said, how much do you guys want?
No way.
And we didn't think we were going to get that far. So we were like, we just threw out like $500. He's like, okay, wrote us a check for $500. And that's how it started. So we got into digital marketing and just tried to teach ourselves as much as possible with like.
Where were you at school at that point?
So I was, like end of sophomore year, around there.
Yet?
So
business management.
I think I had gotten into like the business strategy program.
Okay.
At BYU. And
was Connor in business? Yeah,
he was in the business program as well. But really early stages, and we honestly had no clue what we wanted to do. Like he was even looking at still going into like dentistry or things like that.
So you and Connor have this pizza. You go to the pizza place. The guy opens his checkbook to you. You only asked for $500. What's the matter with you guys?
Well, we learned really quick. So yeah, he wrote us a check for $500, and we were just doing anything and everything we could think of. So we even like threw a college party at this pizza restaurant. We ended up getting like 200 people there, and he was elated. He was like, how'd you guys do this? And so the next month we were like, all right, here's the package, the marketing package we'll give you. This is what we'll do. It's $1,500. So he wrote us a check for $1,500, and we like painted a mural of pizza wings on the side. We've like found
pizza wings.
Yeah, so
I've heard of chicken wings, but not pizza wings.
So like you can stand in front of it, and it makes it look like you have wings made out of pizza.
That's cool. Take a picture.
Then we ran this giveaway that was like, hey, win free pizza for a year. Take a picture in front of this, post it, tag us. That. So we were doing that. We were doing door hangers, and he had a killer offering. So if you went there during lunch, it was packed. You couldn't find a seat. So we were feeling pretty good. Next month, we gave him a marketing package, and we said it's $3,500. And so he wrote us a check for $3,500.
You keep up in the ante.
Exactly. And so we were pretty stoked. It turns out that you don't make a lot of money selling unlimited pizza, salad, drink, dessert for $6.50. So it turns out he was losing money on every person that came in the door.
Oh, gee.
So he went out of business.
Oh, no. You drove him out of business faster than he would have gone. That's funny.
So, yeah, that was our first client. But anyways, that's ended up over the next like 2-3 years, we were still in school. We were just taking on clients, anyone and everyone that we could find, and teaching ourselves about marketing and entrepreneurship. But that was really kind of where it all started. We gained a passion for that.
All right, fast forward now. You're in the business strategies. You get accepted into a very tough school, and you can explain that. And then you went on to convince some people about your capacities in marketing. So tell me what your next steps were in school and then in your career.
So a quick story there. So got into the strategy program. There's only 50 students that get in to that program each year. And most people are going into like big time consulting or like investment banking or things like that. And so I started this marketing agency, and I remember one of the professors, I was having a conversation with him, and I ended up, the first class, he says, hey, listen, it's a bunch of group projects. The lowest grade you can get is a B- in this class. So I was like, all right, cool. At this time, I'm dating Brooke. We're about to get married. Started a digital marketing agency, managing all these clients, and I didn't have enough time to like go to these group meetings. They were spending like 10-12 hours a week.
Oh my.
And I told them up front, I was like, hey, I don't have that time commitment. Long story short, I ended up failing this class.
Oh no.
And the professor said, hey, you should stop this like digital marketing agency. Like you could go and get a big time consulting job. And he failed me in his class.
But it sounds like he was trying to teach you something. I mean, he saw something in you. Is that true, or am I just?
Yeah. There's a little bit of both. There's trying to push me to focus on something in his eyes that were bigger. But kind of fast forward to the next part of the story is that digital marketing agency allowed me to, I was at the Parade of Homes, and these two guys were selling these Pura devices out of the garage.
What year was this?
This was 2017, I believe.
Cool. And what's a Pura device?
So it's a smart home fragrance device. You can control the scent of your home from your phone. A lot of really cool functionality. And Brooke and I, we were going through this house, and it smelled incredible. And then the two founders were selling the devices, and
in the garage.
In the garage is their first batch of Pure devices, and we wanted to buy one. But so we were talking with them, and Brooke mentioned to Richie, one of the founders, that hey, you should talk to my husband. He does like marketing stuff. And so, anyways, ended up I really thought that there was some legs to this product, and it was just them two. So ended up joining on as the first employee there. And was there for 5 years. And
what happened?
So just a crazy, startup story. So it was just, a small group of us, and essentially going from nothing in sales.
Yeah. Nothing, but what were they selling in units per month or dollars per month? What's the best metric?
Seriously, they got a first batch of devices. I think they sold like 100 devices at like $50 a piece. So
their first month, or
no, that
longer?
was, I don't know how, before I came on, they had sold like 100 devices or something like that.
And it's just these two founders. They don't have anyone else working.
Yeah, they're contracting out with different companies and engineers. I was the first
employee,
full employee. Ended up working for free for like 3 months.
Yeah. Did you have a conversation with any of your parents about that?
Another instance where always supportive, but everyone was a little bit like, hey, like, let's think about this. So you're going to go work for free. One, you don't have any money. Two, it's a smart home fragrance device. So like,
I could get those at Walmart, you know?
like how I don't know about this. But no, you guys were always very supportive, and
But we still had those questions, right?
everyone had those questions.
What's Daniel doing?
Well, even investors, like potential investors, everyone was turning Pura down, and it's just a testament to Bruno and Richie, the two founders. Like they were able
Bruno and Richie, name them.
Yes. Yeah, Richie Stapler, Bruno Lima, two founders of Pura, and
nice.
So yeah, it was just this crazy rocket ship of growth after that. So a lot of hard work, but essentially
You worked for free for a month, and then things got better.
Yeah, it worked for free. So he actually set like, hey, sell, because I was like, hey, you guys need to hire me full time. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. We don't have any money, so we can't pay you. But if you sell 2,000 devices, we can start paying you.
Were they making a profit per device, or were you going to drive them out of business too?
Yeah, that would have been bad.
I'm kidding. The story, many people know the rest of the story.
Yeah, so it just
the Paul Harvey part.
The rest of the story. Yeah, so I was there for 5 years, and now they have 180 employees. Do how many? They're selling hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fragrance.
And this is probably and Brooke is still working there now too, right?
Brooke still works there.
And this is their busy season. Right?
Oh yeah.
Coming before Christmas.
Yeah, they'll do a lot every day.
What was your part in that? Is there anything that you did particularly that might have opened the door for them?
Probably the best thing that I did. So like I said, first employee, and I was over the marketing. And so, got all their marketing set up, but probably the best thing that I did was, I recruited, a lot of the people that I knew from college to come on as some of the first employees and
in marketing.
Across the company, operations and customer support, product and things like that. I even, like, classic startup world, I even hired our first HR person, and I was in marketing. So that was probably my, I was able to help bring in some really solid top talent, and ended up, I was CMO over the marketing.
Can I brag about you?
Yeah.
There was recent, I think a year or two ago, didn't you make the Forbes 30 under 30? As a Pura, well, you were, I don't know, an executive.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Right place, right time. And so it was cool, a cool experience, the Forbes 30 under 30. At the same time, they don't know who you are, but they see, oh, Pura blew up, like, you're under 30 years old.
So we'll pick you.
So
wasn't there a particular marketing thing that you helped set up?
Yeah,
like
depending
pre-Christmas.
Yeah, so we did one of the first things I did, I was able to get us on the Ellen show early on. I just DM'd people.
Doesn't she have something right before Christmas? What's it called?
Yeah, it's like the 12 days of giveaways or something like that. And so got Pura on that. And yeah, that was a pretty cool experience.
That's
as well.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're doing pretty well.
Now they're doing pretty well. Not too
and you're
bad.
doing all right. I mean,
hopefully.
That's awesome. Proud of you, Daniel.
Thanks.
So, recently when I call you a serial entrepreneur, parents sometimes what drove you to your next decision, the next big one?
Yeah, a lot of variables in that, just as far as like, so I was even from day one when I started Pura, I always knew I wanted to start my own thing. Pura was this incredible ground of being able to learn and meet new people and how to build a company that, it really succeeds. And so
with Bruno and Richie, you guys drove that really well and more.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of good people there, and so it was just time in my life to go and take a big risk on myself, and I don't know, maybe I'm a little crazy from one too many concussions, but yeah, so kind of a lot of variables came together, just the right time to go and take a leap, and had an idea that I was passionate about.
Did anyone counsel you from taking that giant leap? Like, why are you doing this? Leaving Pura and starting your own business.
There was for sure some questions, but honestly, for the most part, a lot of support on, hey, that's cool. Yeah, how can I help?
And you had a pretty good nest from what you had done at Pura to start with.
Yeah, at least some breathing room to go and do my own thing. So
good. So what is the thing that you started?
Yeah, so kind of part of the story.
I have a shirt that says Life Pass on it.
That was the first name, and then ran into some trademark issues. So the name of the company is Leopard.
Leopard.
Leopard. And yeah.
Do you not know how to spell?
that was for you. No, I don't know. Just trying to do something.
I love it. I think that's cool
with the branding. So part of the story, yeah, I was at Pura. My wife was pregnant with our first son, so we had Wes was born, and so at the time, I'm on paternity leave. Had a month of paternity leave. Was over the marketing at Pura. Had a newborn to try and figure out how to take care, new responsibilities. But on top of that, I have this picture of this to-do list that was over 100 items long of random things that had just been building up that I had been putting off. And so I was like, hey, during this paternity leave, I'm going to crank these out. And so I had a month. I was like, I'll be able to knock these out easy. And it was a full-time job to try and get all of these things done on top of raising a kid and being with the family. And it just hit me. I was like, when I go back to Pura, how am I going to, I won't have time for anything. I want to spend my time on what's most important, on family, on crushing it at work. I don't want to spend an hour getting my oil changed or whatever it is. And so that was kind of where the idea was born, and the vision of what we want to do is create a platform that allows people to get their time back easily, reliably. And so that's the whole vision for Leopard, and made a lot of changes, built an awesome team, have an incredible team.
You do have an awesome team. In fact, Diana and I in our house, we said, okay, we need top-notch cleanup done. And so you have a cleaning service that came in. They not only came in and did a fantastic job getting our house all clean, they even put, what did you call them?
It's a branded wax seal that they put on all the toilet paper.
The toilet paper. and that was so cool. I said, no, never mind. We won't talk about not wanting to use the toilet paper. But anyway, it was pretty cool how they did that.
Yeah. So we so as a part of getting your time back, we found very quickly that quality and reliability is top of mind for customers, right? If I'm going to outsource something and have someone else take it off my plate, I need that done at a high level. And so we quickly decided to, we launched a home cleaning business, bought a car detailing business. And then our app will be launching here in a couple months. And so the idea is you have an app, you can book these
professional services like accounting, attorneys, all this, right?
Eventually we're starting with kind of this area that we feel like is underserviced, which is home cleaning, even laundry, full laundry service, car detail and things like that.
But highly trusted, right? I mean, your passion is to have this foundation of, we've vetted all these businesses and you can trust that they're the best.
Yeah, exactly. And actually bringing that as much as we can in-house. So for example, I mean, on home cleaning, we have 12 home cleaners we've brought in-house. They're W-2 employees of Leopard, branded uniforms, background checks, drug tests, top of the line, really, really solid people that you can trust to come in your home and do an awesome job.
That's sweet. What are the final things after we've had this little conversation? What are some of the things you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, I think just going back to that connection between sports and life and business and learning, the work ethic that you need. So like when I got back from a mission, I was waking up at 4:30 to go into football practice, and it killed me. It wrecked me. But you kind of develop those habits of like, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, I can wake up. I can wake up at 4:30, and so the work ethic and teamwork and leadership. So, just a huge proponent of sports and football especially.
Now, be careful, son, because I got into those disciplines and then I couldn't break it. Then I'm waking up at 5:30 or 4:30 every morning and said, oh, gee, this is a little bit too early when you're in your retirement. Well, we won't call it that.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. This has been a blast visiting with my son, a serial entrepreneur, a fantastic athlete, and a very good friend. So thank you, Daniel.
Thanks for having me here, Lace Pops. It's been a pleasure.